would like to call the June regular meeting of the Westonka School Board to order. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The chair moves for the approval of the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Announcements. July 14th will be the next regular board meeting right here at 6 o'clock. Right now I'd like to invite Activities Director Jeff Peterson to the front for a Share the Success presentation.
No mic needed? Awesome. Thanks for having me here today. I'm excited to share several things that have occurred over the course of the school year and recognize several student athletes. In May, we had our senior athletic recognition breakfast. At that breakfast, we recognized 15 seniors that are moving on to compete in their respective sport at the collegiate level. We recognized 14 three-sport senior athletes and 1 four-sport senior athlete. We had 19 seniors who were recognized as academic all-state in their respective sport. And last year, shortly after our June board meeting, our boys tennis team took 3rd in the state tournament. This year, our jazz and kick teams both placed 5th at state. Our gymnastics team placed 5th. Our girls swim and dive team placed 5th. And on Wednesday, we have a handful of athletes competing at the state track meet. JT Kimbrough, Sammy Christensen, Carter Kleinsasser, Avery Olson, Morgan Johnson, Lexi Raymond, and Eva Castellan-Williams. At this time, I'd like to invite Cole Drill. Parents are Steve and Mara. Cole, come on up. Cole was one of, we had a tie this year in our Yost Hadorf Leopold Award, which recognizes our top male athlete. And Cole's got quite a resume up here. Football, basketball, baseball, boys volleyball, a GPA of 4.0. He was an All-American in strength and conditioning this year. That award is given annually to a high school athlete who has demonstrated outstanding achievement on and off the field, court, ice, regarding strength and conditioning, athletic performance, academics, and leadership. Academic all-state in football, basketball, and volleyball, and I'm going to assume in baseball, but we won't know until about June 15th. That stuff hasn't come out yet. 2023 football all-district selection, 2023 football all-district most valuable quarterback, 2024 football all-district selection, 2024 baseball conference honorable mention. What about, how was the banquet yesterday?
All conference honorable mention again this
Okay,
year.
2024, 2025, all conference honorable mention. 2024, 2025 basketball all conference, which is hard to do in our conference. It's done a little bit differently than it is in other sports, but with only 6 schools on the east side of the Wright County Conference, you get 10 all-conference players. And so this year we were fortunate to have 2, Max Cry and Cole, both well-deserving. Captain in football, basketball, and baseball. And again, he was a tie, 2025 male athlete of the year. So Cole's just had an incredible run here. We're going to miss him. His leadership has been outstanding. And everything he's done for us has just helped us be super competitive. So is there anything you want to share about your experience as a student athlete here? I'm putting him on the spot. I didn't even tell him this.
It was fun. It's a good experience.
Great.
That's all I got.
Are we looking at UW River Falls
Yep.
next year?
Yep,
Okay.
that's what I'm doing next year.
Awesome.
They look like white. What's the team name?
Falcons.
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 Awesome. Congratulations. Thanks for coming.
Plan to play some of the sports there?
Yeah, I played football, and then we'll see. Maybe
You
back.
get to start there and go around.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, he's got something for you there.
There you go.
Officially, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like to refer to Cole as farm strong. There's weight room strong and there's farm strong. I always say Cole is farm strong. He's weight room strong too, but he's farm strong. Thanks for coming,
Thanks,
Cole.
Cole.
Yeah, thank you.
Cole Munster Tiger, who was also a recipient of our Yost Hadorf Leopold Award. Cole wasn't able to be here tonight. Cole's going to wrestle at Southwest Minnesota State University. Played football, wrestling, and baseball. 3.993 GPA, 4-time all-conference in wrestling. That's super impressive, not easy to do. You have to wrestle a certain number of matches in the conference. You have to wrestle well in those matches. You got to stay healthy over the course of the season. So really impressive. All district football honorable mention in 2024, academic all-state in wrestling, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025 state wrestling participant, placed 5th and 6th in 23 and 24, and was a 3-sport captain. Congratulations, Cole. All right, and late addition to tonight, Audrey Kirsch made it. This is awesome. Audrey said, Mr. Peterson, I don't think I can be there. I have a job and I have training. So thank you for being here, Audrey.
Of course.
In May, early May, we went to one of my favorite days of the year. We went to the Athena luncheon, and the Athena is where we recognize our top female athlete. Here at Mount Westonka High School, we've been recognizing the top male athletes since 1953, and female athletes since 1973. So we have a long tradition of recognizing our females, and right when Title IX began. So Audrey, 2021 cross country state participant, 2023 track and field true team state participant. This past fall, state participant in cross country, academic all-state in both cross country and track, 3-year captain in cross country, 2-year track and field captain, 3.95 GPA. If I recall correctly, going to the University of Minnesota in Carlson School of Management, and represented us extremely well at the luncheon, and really fun day. So congratulations. Thank you so much for being here, Audrey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Jeff, remind me what academic all-state is. It's a certain GPA.
Yeah. So in some sports, so it's typically run through the Coaches Association, and so we provide coaches with GPAs, and then coaches submit that, and so it's all academics in those sports, and so if you reach a certain threshold, then you're eligible to receive those awards. So as I mentioned, we had 19 seniors this year that were academic all-state, which means their GPAs were that or higher, most likely, to be recognized within their sport for that criteria. And so really, really awesome, and it's awesome because we like to focus on the student athlete side of things, and so not just on the athlete side of things. So I've got my cross country crew, so why don't you all come up here? And so we're missing our track athletes. That's my fault. I didn't get those to Emily in time to get them up there. But as I recognized and mentioned them, we've had a nice run with athletes in the state tournament. And here tonight with us, everybody was invited, and it's tough in June to get folks to get here. So I appreciate you guys coming. But our cross country team, Lydia Engesser, Lydia. Mari Engesser, Sophie Engesser, Brooke Garlock's not here, Elise Hayes, Hadley is not here, Audrey, Claire Raschlager, and Anna Reginald. So this past year, the state cross country meet was held at the University of Minnesota, and it's been there before, but this was the first year I'd been there to experience that. What a great venue. Really a lot of excitement. I told them I wasn't going to share where we finished, but I'm going to share where we finished. We finished 14th. We were down one runner at the event, which certainly doesn't help. We had an injury right before that happened, but these young ladies represented us extremely well, and it was a lot of fun. It was a gorgeous day in October, and really fun venue, and super proud, and congratulations, and thanks for being here. Audrey, you know where to go, so you're
Congratulations. Great job. Great job.
Congratulations.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
Are they related?
The Engesters are all related.
Okay.
Yes. All of them. Yep.
What gave it away?
Thanks
It was
for
really
coming.
impressive that the whole team came. Thanks. I know it's summer, and for you to come. Thanks, Coach, out there, and thanks to the rest of you.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All the work you do, too. Thank you.
Have a good meeting.
Let's see. Swim and dive. As I mentioned, our swim and dive team placed 5th. Followed up a 3rd place finish from the year before. We had Erica Johnson, who is a diver. Camille Ness, who was a state champion in a relay a few years ago, I think before we started bringing kids in here. Adriana Sullivan and Grace Warden. And unfortunately, all of those girls are seniors except for Erica. Erica's coming back next year, and we're excited to have her back as a state diver. Wrestling, Cole Munster Tiger, Phil Pisarchuk, Deacon Rantham, and Cooper Rowe, who was here earlier. We recognized Cooper for winning his second, and then put the pressure on him to win his 3rd at that night. So those guys. Erica Johnson once again in gymnastics. Where's gymnastics on there? Yep, Erica, Nora Kelly, and Maddie Sanders, and that team placed 5th at the state tournament. High kick and jazz, Mia Abernathy, Olivia Carlin, Maddie Carlson, Sienna Demmer, Emily Hallett, Hadley Hogue, Edie Hollenstein, Paige Johnson, Allison Kreiser, Alexa Leonard, Ali Ogle. Avery Olson was our manager, but she's going to be running in the state track meet here on Wednesday and a couple of different events. Gia Patel, Ellie Schaefer, and Madeline Whitty. Aubrey Bruckner, Jessica Herneman, Amelia Holmberg, Gabriella Kaganowski, Caitlin Latola, Evelyn Lundy, Bryn Mock, Ellis Salvati, Ruby Smith, Alexa Soul, Parker Swanson, and Lily Titler. So really nice group of kids, represented us extremely well when they compete at the state tournament, and just continue to do an awesome job. Unfortunately, we got a pretty good group of seniors in there, so we'll be looking for some younger kids to step up and provide that same kind of consistency and competitiveness. As always, we really appreciate your support at the school board level. We couldn't do it without that, and we just continue to make strides and try to improve things season after season. So really excited about the future. Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Are there any members of the public that wish to address the board? See anybody? Okay. We'll move on to reports. First up is Kraus Anderson.
Hey everyone.
Hey, hi.
Perfect. Okay, show of hands, who wants to start with the tennis court and work their way up, or do everybody want to get the high
Dealer's
school
choice, you
right
get to do
away?
that.
Let's start tennis court. While we're waiting, so here's some progress photos of where we're currently sitting with the tennis court, and this was, I think, as of Friday. Excuse me, I'm gonna try to make it bigger here. So you can see that they have the surfacing down. This is actually the last step that they're doing. So I know this has been a really long process for everybody, and I appreciate everybody's patience on this. So we'll just scroll down here. The last thing that they have left to do right now is the final layer of the surfacing. I think they had a couple spots that you had pointed out, Kevin, where they had some puddling happening on the tennis courts, but they were correcting that before they put the finished layer of paint down. And that should be happening here shortly. And they are currently on track to finish on the 20th. And that's including with the rain days. We just got that update today. So
There's been a lot of those, right? Yeah, it has been.
there's been a few.
More to come too.
So they had that built into their schedule, which we're thankful for, so.
Yeah, it's really exciting. You go out there and you look at first of all, both of our tennis coaches, they just are so complimentary. They're so thankful, and those that they connect with are so excited about these courts. And it's not just going from what our courts were, but how great these courts are going to be. And so I just want to share with the board, there's a lot of appreciation, excitement. Obviously everybody wants to get on them, but also they've been phenomenal working with wanting to make sure we do it the right way and that they last. And so we're going to be anxious to be on them, and yet they're getting their shed organized with their different things, and Community Ed has some pickleball nets that they're getting set up, and they've been working with the pickleball community on selecting the nets and kind of going over protocol of how things can work. And so I think there's some good synergy that's starting out there as well, and excited to see them.
Well, some of the pickleball nets we set up more permanently and then removed, like for tennis matches?
No, it'll be, you have to use and put back, because if that doesn't happen, they'll be staying out. And so they're working with that community, what that process looks like. They really tried to select ones that both are solid and yet easy to move. And those storage sheds are gonna make it convenient for those to go into.
Is that gonna be, I thought there was some talk of a grand opening for the community for pickleball.
There's gonna be a community, there's gonna be a pickleball community, kind of like an orientation, and then there's a ribbon cutting that we're gonna do this fall. And so that orientation, once we for sure know the date, then we'll set that date. But I think they're in the loop of what our progress is looking like and where we're at.
And
I thought you were gonna get out of the financial report there for a minute, Ken.
That's a
They little red.
Everybody's watching me fumble around.
We're disciplined, we pay attention.
Man, thank you.
Can I ask you what these black frames are? Are these gonna be shelters?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's actually
okay.
a canopy that goes over
A canopy,
those.
sure,
They got
okay.
taken down before the winter, and
Oh,
they'll
okay.
get put back up here after the construction activities are done.
Got it.
We're looking at ordering bleachers sets that are gonna face both ways, that'll go under the canopy sets.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we'll roll right into the middle school. So a lot of our middle school, right? Westonka Middle School.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
Oh, there you
yes,
go, you
yeah.
clicked it, yep.
Yeah, it looked like the top one.
First time I've seen that picture, that's nice.
Yeah, so this is actually an updated rendering. that we just got updated today, and this is the new Spark page update that'll be shared with everybody. So last week we actually just had our first project kickoff meeting, and we did a site walkthrough last week. So a lot of pre-construction activities are already done, installing all the floor protection, and they've done a lot of demolition activities up to this point. I don't know that they're all reflected truly in the photos that we have here, because actually one of the photos that I took as of last week, actually the stage was gone as of last Thursday, so that's no
And
more.
this is all interior work, right? So
Yes.
weather's not gonna be too much of a factor here. Sure.
There's some exterior work, I think with the canopy and some of the wheelchair access up to the building, so there's a ramp that needs to be
A
built.
minimal amount of.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
that's nice.
When the stage went out, that was one of the points that I had questions about, because you're not quite sure when you take that out, how did they construct it back in
There was-
1957?
There wasn't any more soil under the
So,
stage.
yeah.
Especially somehow they're stuck in
So that fortunately didn't throw some significant surprise.
Okay, great.
There's a lot to be said about that. There are things that do happen under a stage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, it's just
Yeah, I've
so
come across
similar,
it,
nobody-
yeah. Or there could be like a big slab of concrete that's built up from the floor that you need to rip out. Yep, we bumped into a few of those. But things that they have coming up here throughout the month, what to expect for things to come is they are gonna finish up the demo here this week. And then they're gonna start doing framework on all the walls and mechanical, electrical, plumbing rough-ins. And that'll be a big portion of the month. Then hopefully through the start of next month, then we're starting to actually enclose everything and starting to put drywall up and then ceiling grid. So I kind of give you a month and a half look ahead, but that's the way it should be going. Any questions on tennis court? Canopy demolition will also start this month. Comments, questions, concerns on that? All right, high school. So I'm gonna actually walk through this one a little bit slower because there's a lot more activities that have happened on this. So one thing that we talked about last month was updating the construction phasing based on where the permit was at. Bumped into some soil corrections that needed to happen in the northwest corner of the site where the addition goes, and there was a couple other small delays, some including weather. So over a lot of updates, I think this was shared with the board here last month. One thing that was not shared that we did update with some of the recent delays was probably a November opening for some of this area right here versus I think last month we were trying to shoot for an MEA finish. We're still gonna try to push for the earliest possible finish, but conservatively, that's what we're thinking right now.
Just like to point out that to you that our groundbreaking was on schedule at the board purchase. We were on schedule.
I was on schedule. I had to think about it for a second. I wasn't gonna commit.
You're holding up your bargain?
Yeah, we kept our part of the deal.
You did. So some of the things that we have coming up for work in June, obviously we talked about it already, but soil corrections, it's a big piece right now. But then pouring and footing foundations. Let me stop actually and back up on this. So there was a lot of thought actually put into the soil corrections and pouring the footing foundations. So one thing that we're working with the contractors on right now is doing a rock bed underneath some of the footings and foundations so we can continue with construction and pouring those footings and foundations even if it does start raining. That way it doesn't slurry out the bottom of the footing and foundation pit. So that's one thing that we have implemented proactively just to try and help us schedule.
So what is this soil correction? I mean, it's just poor material to build on?
Yep, so there's poor soil conditions, and I think there was a couple unforeseen things that were in the soils that we couldn't account for. So, like I said, we'll get into detail on it, but so there's a utility pipe that was actually going through the center of the additions that weren't known. And back in the day when they do a backfill for these trenches, they didn't necessarily backfill it with what we consider the good standard soils today. So when we come across a trench like that utility pipe needed to be placed in, we need to get rid of all that soil in there and place it with soil that can be built on. Hope I explained that well enough. But then we're gonna have structural steel installation here on the addition here starting this month. Precast installation, that'll be happening more towards the end of the month, and then we'll be getting all of our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing underground in the addition here at the end of the month too. Phase 2, which is the interior renovation. I'm actually pretty excited to share, because I just got a picture from site today. I'll let everybody take a look at it here. But that's, as of this morning, that's what the classroom areas look like right now. So it's
Oh my
completely,
goodness.
Wow, it's like one big room.
completely got it out, yeah.
Okay.
I always like to share this one. It's pretty fun.
That's wild.
Start from scratch.
Yeah.
It is. So they're doing a really good job there. Rob Schloder shared that with me today. So next we're gonna start getting the concrete saw cutting anywhere we have underground piping going, any abatement that needs to happen, and then we'll be doing our framing and any of our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough ends throughout that space. And that's gonna be for the upper and lower level, so I'll spare everybody from walking through phase 3 and phase 4.
And that phase right now is looking, right now we're running on schedule for
Phase 2?
phase 2.
Yes. Yep, it's looking really good right now. And here are some of the progress photos that we had from last month.
Are all the lockers coming out? I saw some out in the
Yeah,
front
they
today.
are.
All coming out?
Yeah, so this update was made here last week. If it was made today, it'd be complete, like you saw, completely different
Just nothing
environment in there now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But any comments, questions on the high school?
Is there, obviously, the latest news as far as tariffs is like 50% on steel. Is that, are we impacted by that, or do we already have our orders in, or? See what I mean?
As far as we're concerned, orders are in.
Okay.
So anything that if tax impacts happened after contract or materials should have been ordered, then that's on the contractor to account for on their end. So the contract that was written on your behalf protects you from claims like that. There could be some if there's like, the only place it could come into effect is if there's any change order work. So let's say we need to add steel. Okay, since it's something that wouldn't have been accounted for, they can technically charge for that tax after the fact. But base contract work, we're good.
I was hoping that was what you were gonna say. No, that's good news.
So then how often are you updating, providing updates on the website?
Once a month.
Once a month.
We have a facilities committee meeting at 7 a.m.
Monday.
Monday.
Next
And
Monday?
so that's
the
16.
16th. And so we will continue to go through updates of how we're doing on design. We'll talk about other parts of the project that we're working through. But I think a couple shout outs. First of all, appreciated the K's team of how they worked with contractors. They were into Grandview before school was out, bringing product in, getting set up, doing some investigation beforehand, which really helped with some of that demo. Also at the high school, we freed up a couple social studies classrooms. It was a great effort by our staff to open that up. So that really allowed for the pictures that you saw. And also just thanks for the board support and parent support of how we reworked those last 2 days of our schedule. It's hard to believe, but we had graduation right now, that was a week ago. And where we are from moving everything out of those classrooms, finding the right spot and to see it where it is now, we really tried to capture every minute. And I think that was a huge effort by our staff there's decades in those rooms to get that stuff packaged, find a spot. And there was a lot of thought given to how do we find the best value. So we posted things trying to resell where we thought that could be, down to the lockers, asking, is there anybody interested in purchasing lockers? We tried to figure out in our own district, do people want these pieces of equipment, and hauling it from place to place. And so it wasn't just a matter of packing or throwing. We really tried to find the greatest value we could out of these things. And to see that high school picture this morning made it kind of validated that effort and some of the decisions made of everyone working together to get it to that point. Now we just have to work the plan and get the plan set. So fall, we're welcoming students in some of those new classroom spaces. And obviously we're gonna be working through some temporary classroom spaces as well for the first months, and gradually each month or each phase opening up some new segments of the building. So it's gonna be fun to have the progress and take another step and take another step. But appreciate everyone's cooperation as we go through the project.
I echo that. I do appreciate everybody's patience with this because construction is not fun. It's not easy, but it will look beautiful when it is done.
We're confident in you guys, because the other work you've done for us, we're confident that it's gonna look great.
Appreciate that. I'll definitely pass it on to the guys out there. Yeah.
One thing that I like about this team, in addition to being caring professionals, several of them live here, they work here, they want to bring the best value to the community, and they don't just say that, they really own it. They take a lot of pride that this is in their community, want to do the best, and so it's a nice added connection, and I think it really leads to you treat it like your own, because it is. So.